Are you sure this is the place?
I'm pretty sure this is the place. This is what the note said.
I mean, the note that was stuck inside of your program from the 80s?
Yeah, but it seemed really new compared to the program.
Yeah, but why are we following it? I mean, we were so deep underneath this place. I didn't know it went so deep underneath.
Don't you have a sense of adventure?
I do, and of all places, of course it would be this arena.
Yeah, I mean, we have to check it out. We can't just not do anything.
Well, I mean, wait. Is that a door?
That's a door. Come on, let's go.
Are you sure? I mean, what if they catch us? We're not even in our country.
What could even happen? Come on.
All right.
Live a little.
All right. I'm coming. All right, you want to do it? You want to pull on it?
Yeah, I'll do it. All right, ready? On the count of 3.
Okay.
1,
2,
3.
Coming to you direct from deep underneath your favorite Japanese wrestling arena, it's time for your high-speedy, strongly styled, fighting spirited, secret handshaking, wink wink nudge nudge, lethal dose of female professional wrestling, primarily in the land of shoguns and rising suns. It's time for you to remove your blindfold, accept a complimentary fruity drink that's totally not sus at all, and learn from our inside terminology, because you, our friends, have nearly willfully accepted the invite and have joined our Cult of Joshi. Now allow me to introduce you to your fighting spirited guides, Raja and John.
Hello, and welcome back to the Cult of Joshi. I'm your host, Raja, and I am joined by my co-host, John.
Your Hall of Fame co-host.
My Hall of Heroes co-host,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
We have had a fun week.
It's been something, hasn't it?
It has.
It's been 1 week. Yeah.
We've been getting out there, doing some rounds.
Yeah, we've done a few rounds. You did a few more rounds than me. I had to carry you home. And
That's fair. Fair. Yeah. I get a little crazy. Okay.
you're always a little crazy.
But as we spoke about on our last episode, this past weekend, we drove ourselves back down to Kingsport, Tennessee.
Some stomping grounds, my friend. Some stomping grounds that we've been all over. We've lived all over. And
Yes.
I can't find my baby. But we've been northeast, southeast, east.
Yeah, mostly east.
Most east.
But up and down the east.
The eastern seaboard even.
Yes.
Yeah, we've done a lot of things. So, and entertained in a lot of places.
You have.
Some of that has been wrestling related.
Yes.
But
A lot of it has been wrestling related.
it was a lot of fun. So we made the trip down, and it felt kind of weird, man. I mean,
It did. Because we haven't been back in a while.
Yeah, and it was really strange for a number of reasons. In my head, I'm always that 10-year-old kid just
Right.
mesmerized by wrestling, and taking your first step, and anytime you get ready to come out in front of a crowd, you still get that same feeling. It's always when I hear the music and it gets to that point, I just always have that feeling, but when you get it out there in front of them, it doesn't matter who the crowd is, and all you see is the lights, number one.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I did music, wrestling,
You don't see anybody's faces.
whatever it is, you kind of just see the lights, and that's always been a good thing, but I just start entertaining. I can't help it. It just comes on, and I give everything I have. But this was incredible because anytime a group of peers, honor you,
Yeah.
and the fans agree, it's always a good thing. It means a lot. And some of the things that were said was about my promo ability in my time in wrestling as being the best in the area.
Right.
And that's heavy to me because I grew up in that area.
Right.
And I heard people that, I took, a lot of inspiration from. And that means so much to me to hear it. Just from the people that came from, a lot of workers came from the Tennessee territory.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So it means a lot to me because they could all talk. They could all tell a story in the ring.
It's just one of those things when you come from that area, you get trained on certain things.
Yeah. Tennessee's got a bad reputation for blood and guts.
Right.
And it does have blood and guts. But the thing it also houses personal issues.
Yeah.
And,
a lot of personality.
It's telling a story in the ring. It's telling a story cold with a crowd that might not know, what's the ongoing deal is. And that's one of the beauties of indie wrestling is being able to establish who you are, who's the heel, who's the baby, what's going on, what's the conflict.
Right.
And quickly, right? And so when I transitioned from wrestler to manager, that was the biggest thing, was making sure that crowd, buddy, they knew what was going on. And there's
they knew.
There's little things that are really hard to explain. I mean, anybody could go out there and stand and not really make an impact, but
right.
I was always involved in the backstage stuff. I was always involved in the matches and the finishes, in calling the finishes, or in, participating somewhat, or knowing my spots,
right.
Commentary, freaking, booking, running towns, done a little bit of all of it, and that just all culminates because the fans don't know that. The fans don't know you're a town promoter.
Right.
At least they shouldn't know.
Right.
But that's always been a big fun thing. Anything I can do in the business has always been it for me. I don't care what it is. If it's in the business, I just love everything. I love when I walk in and that smell.
Yeah.
Just the
so familiar.
The gym locker smell and popcorn and all of it mixed in with a little regret and anticipation. It's just beautiful to me. But there's a fresh batch of kids,
Man.
And the crazy thing was in this little territory, Innovate Wrestling. It's been under a few names: NWA Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Championship Wrestling Alliance, just a few names.
Yes, they've gone through their share.
So, and that happens. I mean, that happens in any promotion. But the big thing is, it's been a constant, that promotion, since 2004. And I've been there since 2005 in that promotion.
Yeah.
So, it was Tony Givens, the promoter, and my eternal foe.
Yes.
We had a thing where we could just look at each other and the whole place would erupt.
Yeah. I remember those days.
they just knew, because it was me and my team versus him and his team.
Yeah.
We worked up the war games. We brought in stars and, but the thing was, we generated and created our own stars, and it was a beautiful thing. With all those boys in his group all went to high school in the same high school in that town.
Right.
Everybody knew who they were.
Yeah.
And, my group was monsters and, out of towners, so to speak. And, so it was the big business against the kids.
Yeah.
And it was it worked. It just worked, man. We just had magic. We had chemistry. And, we were able to recycle it through many different incarnations of that feud. But, that was who presented me the other night. And he started talking about the first night that I came to their Fed. I was in another place, and I showed up with a guy that I trained. Meant everything to me, Big Steve Fury. 6 foot freaking 7 on a shoot and could do a moonsault. I trained him in the backyard on grass.
Yeah.
Giving hip tosses, body slams, arm drags on grass. If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. But Tony got in the ring and he talked about, this guy comes back and, comes in and says, I want to work here, blah, blah, blah. And the thing was, they put us on the opening match on TV. And Steve was a little bit down. He was like, man, I'm bigger than anybody here. It's like, he was a little cocky. He's like,
right.
And he should be. He looked like a young Kevin Nash,
Right.
And he's like, they're going to bury us. I'm like, no, they're not. And I'll never forget the advice. I was like, look, if you get 5 minutes, make it the most memorable 5 minutes of the night for those people.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're first, second, third, fourth, whatever you are. You got to make the most of your minutes.
Yeah.
Make them want more of you. And it's better to not get that super push right off the bat undeserved.
Right.
I was like, let's go.
And fumble it.
Exactly. Let's go out there and do it. And some of that, all that was flooding back to me. It was also flooding back to me about some of my training techniques. Like, I took Steve on the road before I ever let him get in a ring. I took him to all these different federations. So I took him to Memphis. He was backstage at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Right.
He got to meet Lawler. He got to meet, all these people. in one of the last ever shows at Mid-South Coliseum. He was backstage in Nashville. He's backstage, and it was just learning the psychology, being on the road with like Kid Cash and all these people, hearing stories and shutting your mouth.
Yeah.
Hearing this, that's how you're trained. That's the real way you're trained.
Right.
Is listening to the guys talk about their matches, talk about what happened, talk about what's going to happen, what pisses them off, what's good, what's bad. The whole psychology of the business is more than just in-ring psychology. It's how you interact.
Yeah.
When I went there the other night, what's the first thing I did?
You shook everyone's hand.
In the building.
In the building, yes.
Yeah.
It's like all the way around the entire arena.
Yeah, all the wrestlers there before the match started and stuff, people that had never met me before, but had watched me or whatever. It's important to me, to look people in the eyes and, greet them, humbly and mean it.
Yeah.
It breaks all the ice.
Yeah, they don't feel like intimidated or anything.
Yeah.
And like everyone can work together really well.
Yeah, and you put yourself on that even playing field. But I remember White Lightning Tim Horner, who was, anybody who's ever watched wrestling like in the 80s and the 90s, they probably know who Tim Horner is. He came up to us and we were at a show in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this was when I was training Big Steve. And he asked, he's like, who are you? Because again, 7 foot tall.
Right.
Beautiful long hair, just a Adonis.
Yeah.
And he's like, my name's Steve Fury. He gave his working name because I told him, I was like, just always give your working name.
Right.
And he's like, I'm Steve Fury. And he's like, okay. He goes, you work? Well, I'm training. He's like, this man trains me here. And and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, so have you, he's like, no, he's training me by taking me around on the road trips. And Tim Horner basically got a tear in his eye. And this is a real story. It's true. The truest can be. And he's like, he got broken up. He's like, that doesn't happen anymore. He's like, that's the way you break in. That's the way you train.
Yeah.
He's like, that means so much. He looked over at me and he like shook my hand, and I felt really bad because I'd always kind of shit on Tim Horner.
He doesn't have to know that.
It was like, well, just because growing up, I was always like, no, not a Tim Horner. But it was just it was more of a fun thing of my friends. But it was, that I respected the shit out of him after that. But, these kids in this place, to go back to that, I seen so much of us starting out. And, I was just like, and I was telling everybody, I was like, you guys like Japanese wrestling? Do you guys like Joshi?
Anybody here watch female Japanese wrestling?
So, and a lot of them did. A lot of them, the females, I talked to some of the girls on the card and stuff. I was trying to work us around. So they have an all-female card coming up in that area that we're going to go to, and try to spread that out, spread the love out, maybe interview some of the girls. Yeah. And really, I'm probably jumping back in a little bit, maybe.
Did you catch the bug?
A little bit. And
usually when we go to wrestling, we get a different kind of bug, but this time is a good kind of bug.
Though I had some young guys that I had worked with their fathers.
Yes. Come
to me and ask me to,
perhaps
how cool it would be to kind of get the rub and have, come out and be their voice. And so it was exciting to me.
It was really fun. I mean, there was a lot of old faces, a lot of new faces. It's like the old generation mixing with the new generation now. It was really cool just to see everybody and see how things are getting along down there, because they're really, they got a good crowd going every time they're running a show. So,
well, the first class of inductees this year, it meant a lot to me because one of my trainers got inducted, and that's Brian Wayne, who listens to the show.
Yes.
Mr. Happy Brian Wayne, Bubba, as I call him. But, he's been my friend for many a year. He was my friend before he was a trainer. But, he was an amazing wrestler at the time. He was, unbelievable to move at the size. He could do unbelievable moves. But, he hasn't always got the accolades that I felt he deserved. Right. And it was nice to see him get his roses, get his flowers, so to speak. And so that was really cool to me to go in with him. There was a referee go in, and this was a great story. His name's Brandon. Brandon Cox, he went in for just his contributions to the Fed.
Yeah, as a whole.
Hanging posters, just the stuff that goes unseen a lot of times.
Right.
The funny story of Brandon and the connection to me, and Brandon brought this up to me. He's like, everybody here is connected to you in some way. But the connection with him was he was he worked in a grocery store. Mm-hmm. And he was a huge fan of mine, him and his friend, who his friend also ended up going in and being a legendary voice in Southern indie wrestling. Mm-hmm. But Brandon, they were asking me about, hey man, is that on the up and I'd look at him really intensely and be like, what do you mean? Of course it is. They'd be like, Tony, I hate that fucker. Yeah. Why? Do you know him? Is he here? And all this stuff. They started going and buying tickets front row. And this is what he said the other night. He goes, I got involved to see you.
Right.
To support you. I made signs for you.
Yeah.
And bought front row tickets week after week after week. And then wanted to be part of the business. And, I never would let them because they're front row ticket buyers.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's just me. But they would, even like months into it, I would still kayfabe them, but they love it. They came to me much later on. They did work their way into putting up rings and doing this. And,
right.
And I love it. But they came up to me like a year after doing it, and we were in the back one time. And they were just like, the very fact that you kept that alive with us and really were serious about it, I made our love for this stronger.
Yeah. I mean, you got to imagine.
And, one of the other people that went in was a guy named Sensational Wayne Atkins, another incredible worker, and another guy that I just had magic with. And we could go out, and it wouldn't matter if anything was called or not, but we had and he brought this up. He's like, we had a real tense relationship.
Yeah.
There was real emotion there.
Right.
We were never buddies. Mm-hmm. We had like an actual... kind of like a rivalry, right. And there was it could always at any second turn into something else. Mm-hmm. And we used that in the ring. We always did, but we could do these things with each other. And it's just easy, man. We could work each other out there for 10 minutes, just working the fans of little things and easy stuff. But it was all about emotion. It was about the connection to the crowd. Right. And again, it goes back to Joshi. It goes back to all the things I see there. I just
we love it so much.
Just love pro wrestling. And again, guys, I apologize. I will not talk about myself until every chance I get. So how was it from your side?
Oh, it was amazing. I got to sit back there and watch the entire show, and the wrestling was really good. I was really impressed with a lot of the younger talent that have been up and coming from that area and like training in that school and everything. And then seeing the Hall of Heroes induction was just really nice, and getting to see good old John Hawkins come out and play a little bit again. It reignites your love for the business when you see something like that. So, and I know a lot of people in the crowd were really excited about it too. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun just being there and being around those people that I've known for such a long time again. And it just felt like home, like a little piece of home. Yeah, it was really beautiful.
That's the wonderful thing about wrestling is the first time I ever walked in a locker room, it didn't matter who you were. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter what you'd done. It didn't matter, who you loved.
Right.
It didn't matter what color you were, what sex you were. You walk back there and you're brothers and sisters.
Right.
And you protect one another to the death, and you cover for one another, or you give someone a home when they don't have one. You buy people food. You really care for each other in a way that's just expected. It's not... It doesn't even have to be asked or requested,
right,
or paid back.
Yeah,
it's a fraternity that is unlike any other, because it's the strangest, most wonderful sport that has ever existed.
It really is its own one of a kind thing.
It is, and it's draped in mysteries, draped in shadows. People think they know everything about it, which makes it even better for us because they don't know shit.
Right.
They think they know, and we let them think they know.
Yeah.
And use that to kayfabe has had to evolve,
Right.
and it's had to
You gotta
evolve.
factor in so many more things now.
Yeah, you have to grow with it. And there's masters of that psychology.
Yeah.
And there's people that still don't get it. There's some old timers that just shake their fist at it and don't understand that even though somebody might look like the Young Bucks might look like they're bringing you in and showing you everything.
Yeah.
They're actually working you.
Right.
They're actually not showing you everything. They're saying, "Oh yeah, this is everything.
Yeah.
We really hate that guy." But, it's probably a work, right? And that's just what you have to do, man. It's just beautiful. And I love it. And I love what we do.
Me too.
I love the comments that we get. I love that the show's starting to grow.
I know. It's so cool watching it slowly but surely.
But we need
gain more and more listeners.
Yeah.
And a little community.
And we need all of you guys. Normally at the end of the show, we'll say something for a few seconds. But I mean this. We need you guys. We need you to spread the word. We need you to share the show. We need you to leave reviews. However you listen. If you listen on Apple, if you listen on Spotify, if you listen on YouTube, get the algorithm going for us. And, again, the more that happens, the more we can do.
Yeah, it gives us the ability to give you guys even more content and make sure that you're happy with all the Joshi like we are.
Yeah, and we really want to do that. I had somebody give me a face-to-face thing asking for timestamps. Just throwing that out here right now too.
Okay.
Maybe you can have intro.
I got you. I've done it in the past before on some shows, but a lot of shows we just talk about one thing sometimes.
That's true. That's true.
But I will be more diligent about the chapters. On the YouTube videos.
That was somebody that listens giving me a face-to-face on that. So
well, it's good to know. That's the kind of feedback I want so that I know what to do.
All right, so it's your show, Raja. That's enough about me.
It is, but we needed to talk about that. It was a very important part of our week. It was the best thing that happened this week.
Well, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself, but it is that time of year. We're getting into spring now. Spring has officially begun.
Has sprung.
And in only 3 weeks' time, it'll be WrestleMania week.
What?
That's crazy, right? 3 weeks away, WrestleMania week. At the beginning of April, essentially, mid-April.
My God, it doesn't seem like that's possible.
It's already time for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. But the coolest part about WrestleMania week is the continuing growth of the number of Joshi available on WrestleMania week for people to watch in the United States, which I absolutely love, even if we can't be there live, which freaking sucks.
We were spoiled before being able to have them on the East Coast and go and spend the week and just have so much fun.
Dang,
and
Las Vegas.
Go to all the events and,
it was so much
get
fun.
special treatment at some shows.
It was so much fun, but they are across the country this year, so we're going to be happily watching all of the action.
We almost went.
From our comfortable little place here on the East Coast.
Yes, we do have this wonderful setup for the watching with the obnoxiously large television set in front of us.
Yes.
So,
but I wanted to talk about all the announcements that have come out for WrestleMania week where Joshi is concerned, because there has been quite a lot. Marvelous is throwing their own show in, kind of partnering with West Coast Pro like they do.
Marvelous.
Most of the time. They've announced Takumi Iroha, Maria, Riko Kawahata, and the Great Sakuya will both be appearing.
Jesus.
Sinka Akatsuki, the young girl who has been constantly taking her clothes off recently.
It's been the best thing in wrestling.
And Aja Kong have all been announced for the Marvelous show. So, along with international talent, of
She's
course.
made a star out of herself just by disrobing.
I know, Seika's so funny.
Because she's so intense. It's funny because we talked about her on this show, her first tryout.
Yeah,
when
tryout.
When she did her graduation into, getting picked or whatever, out of training, she... I'm at a loss for words what that's actually called. And
her protest.
It's really pissing me off. Yes, her protest. Thank you. It was I was going through everything about it. That thing she did where she went around and did push-ups and sit-ups and wrestled. And but we loved that. And we put it over on the show. We had a big thing about it. And it's her. It's that girl that is now so intense and standing behind Takumi. And
she cracks me up.
They invaded Marigold.
They did.
And
Well, they bought tickets to see Marigold.
yes.
And they were there, and Nanai was like, "Why don't you guys come get in the ring?" And then shit popped off.
Yeah, and one wonderful thing was, and what's her name again?
Senka Akatsuki.
Okay, so Senka gets in there, and she's just like, you know what? Fuck. And she just, she starts disrobing.
It's so
And
good.
she had her gear on underneath, and I, honest to God, want to believe it's a shoot.
I know.
I want to believe that she really just keeps her gear on.
Yeah.
So that's been happening like at pressers and all this stuff.
She did it at the press conference. She had like regular street clothes on, but she took them off.
I would totally give her a gimmick name of Always Ready.
Yeah.
Senka, what's the best way to be ready? Always be ready. To get ready, always be ready. And,
right.
But
it's amazing, and it's definitely going to garner her a lot of attention.
already
I
has.
think. Yeah.
She's crazy.
She is in the best way.
Yeah.
Crazy determined to prove that Marvelous is the best.
Right.
TJPW, of course, will be at WrestleMania week because it's TJPW. They have to go big.
Most accessible Joshi Fed out there, probably.
They announced 3 major title matches that will be happening on their show. Mizuki and Miyu Yamashita, which is like an insane match for the Princess of Princess Championship. Shoko Nakajima and Hyper Misao defending the tag titles against Yuki Kamifuku and Wakana Uehara, who we just saw won on their most recent show. And Suzume putting the International Princess Champion against Jada Stone. So along with that, they're bringing pretty much everyone: Maki Ito, Rika Tatsumi, Yuki Aino, Raku, Palm Harajuku, Arisu Indo, Yuki Arai, Shino Suzuki, Max the Impaler, and Zara Zakar. We'll all be there.
So there's no particular young girl with aggression?
No. There's no Toga.
Damn it.
Not that I saw, at least.
Yeah. Well,
But they're bringing all the standards.
yeah, they're getting everybody.
Everyone's coming.
Hopefully Toga comes.
And Tokyo Joshi shows, of course, are just a joy, especially live.
They're wonderful,
It's
fun.
infectious.
Yeah, they're wonderful, fun. Up girls, the whole vibe is it's a vibe.
It is.
That's
it is a vibe.
So we love watching it and have gotten more into it. Still, the house shows can be a struggle sometimes because they don't have the same energy as
the big shows.
Their big shows are just honestly hard. They're kind of hard to beat. But every big show in Joshi, I think, was beat last week. But we'll get to that.
We will get to that.
Yeah.
Stardom also announced the full roster of wrestlers that will be coming to Vegas. So they will be flying over Hanan, Saya Ida, Hazuki, Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Hanako, Shiri, Starlight Kid, Azumi, Suzu Suzuki, Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, Konami, and Tekla.
Yeah.
So, there's a big gap, okay, that I'm seeing in this list, and that is a big cosmic angel shaped hole in the roster for Vegas.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is. It is weird. I kind of understand the 10 days before Grand Queendom. Maybe they don't want Tam and Saya, the possibility of them getting injured or something like that. But it just seems strange. There's no Mayu Iwatani like last year.
Yeah, no Mayu Iwatani and no Cosmic Angels. But on a positive note, I think it's cool as hell that we got Hanan.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get Hanan last year.
Didn't. That was really disappointing.
But Hanan, Hazuki.
Yeah. Suzu.
Yeah. Maika. I'm excited for Hanako.
Yeah.
To be here. SLK is always a good day.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a lot of really amazing people.
And Zoom. We got Kazumi coming. And
yeah, those Stardom shows are going to be incredible just because it's Stardom. I mean.
Right, and we'll probably get them on the Ring of Honor show.
Yeah.
We'll probably get them in little... And we already know Suzu's going to be on GCW.
Oh, my God. Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Yeah.
They announced Suzu Suzuki versus Masha Slamovich, which is... Wow.
Listen, I haven't been excited about the spring break show in a few years.
Right.
This one's amazing.
He's really going all out.
It's got all the wacky and the cool.
Yeah.
So they announced the old timers scramble and part of it you have to be over 55 years of age.
Right. That's gonna be so good.
Because Punky's going to be in it, Ricky Morton's going to be in it.
Yeah.
There's so many that I can think of that are over 55 that,
right. I know Unagi Sayaka was announced for the clusterfuck.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which is hilarious. So,
it is.
Yeah, so there's so much Joshi that's going to be happening. There's probably going to be even more between now and WrestleMania week that end up popping up, but I'm so excited.
Me too.
I love WrestleMania week just for the absurdity of the number of shows that get put on, not just by the collective, but by WrestleCon, and then of course WrestleMania. And usually around that time we have Supercard of Honor, but I don't think it's WrestleMania week this year. I think it's in May this year, but it's still cool. There's so much to watch, like an overabundance of things to watch on WrestleMania week. So you kind of got to just spend all your time watching wrestling for a full week. And it's great.
No problem with that.
No problem at all. But why don't we get into some wrestling reviews? And normally we have a certain order to things where we talk about certain, like, promotions in a certain order. But I kind of want to switch it up this week. Because I feel like the one thing deserves the main event spot.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
No, it's very fair. I don't think you had to. I think it was expected, honestly. If anybody took any seconds to see this.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, shame, we know your name.
This wasn't even a pay-per-view.
This event.
Oh, man. We will get to it. But first, I want to quickly go over Stardom Spring Vacation 2025 in Okinawa. Because they had 2 shows. Across 3 days. They had like an autograph session in the middle of the 2 shows, and it was kind of what the title suggests, a vacation. It was in beautiful Okinawa. They were on the beaches, and they kind of just had fun with it. Like there wasn't anything crazy and major or pressing that happened.
No, it had a weird feel.
Yeah.
Just because it was in Okinawa. So but they did seem like everybody was having a good time.
Yeah, they definitely enjoyed themselves. On the 20th, the first day of spring vacation, we had Ane Kanaya's debut against Yuna Mizumori opening up the show, which was super exciting to see. She is just a little star in the making, I can already tell.
Ane Kanaya is a firecracker.
She is. She's in that yellow and orange, and she's very tropical feel, and her music is super fun, and she is very talented.
Already love her. She already has that connection with people from the dancing out to the ring to just the facials. A lot of the selling. She's special. I
agree completely. And this debut match was a fairly good, it was a good sized match with Yuna here, and she really showed a lot. And she has this move, her special move, because they all get one. It's like a victory roll arm drag type of thing. It's crazy looking, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's very inventive and seems easy to get into. So that's always the key.
It is the key.
Following her debut, we had Lady C, Hina, Tomoka Inaba, and Saki Kashima grab a win over Azusa Inaba, Konami, Rina, and Momo Watanabe with the Kishikaise.
Of course.
Because Saki's in the ring. Then, Miyu Amasaki and Azumi, O2 line, got the win over Rion and Maika. And there was a little cute moment in this match where Azumi kind of paid tribute to Starlight Kid, who's injured currently. She was on commentary, so she was there.
Yes.
But she did the SLK clap and set up like she was going to do the moonsault, but then she just jumped backwards and stomped on top of Rion.
It was funny.
It was very funny. But Miyu got the win in this match with the Tensai. Good for her. Next, there was a 3-way where Hanako defeated Aya Sakura and Rana Yagami. And this was a bit of a story match because Aya Sakura and Hanako have been at each other's throats with the upcoming New Blood tag team title match.
Yeah, they're really pushing Rana out of the way.
They were at first. They were like, we don't want anything to do with you. We're focused on each other. And Rana seemed affronted by that.
And what a powerbomb.
Yeah, the Hanako's powerbomb on Aya to end the match was kind of a lot.
It was a little vicious.
It was. Maybe they got real beef going on.
They do now.
After that, Momo Kogo, Koguma, Hazuki, and Mayu Iwatani defeated Yuria Hime, Akira Kuragane, Saya Ida, and Hanan with a DDT from Momo on Hanan to get the pin, which is crazy. This was a prelude to their tag title match, the 2 nights from this night.
Right.
So Momo was able to get the pin on Hanan heading into that title match, which is a big deal for Momo Kogo, I think.
I think so too.
Next, after that, in tag team action, Waka Tsukiyama and Mina Shirakawa took on Sariano and Tam Nakano, and Tam used the Tiger Suplex to pin Waka for the win in this match. It was a kind of cool little, like, past Cosmic Angels sort of thing.
It's like right now everything feels like borrowed time.
Yeah.
With Tam. It feels very special.
It's like Tam's trying to get in all the dream matches before things
it just
go down.
feels very special. I don't know. It's just like Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Like right now, Kenny Omega, where he had so much, he had to go through so much.
Yeah.
Every match he has feels
like he's trying to do something crazy.
like I'm trying to savor it as much as I can because you just don't know how much was something that took so much out of him.
I know. You never know when someone's just going to be gone and we could lose Tam in a month.
Yeah.
You never know. Like she could be gone for good.
I mean, something's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to be sad.
Yeah.
In the semi-main event, Ruaka and Natsuko Tora got the win over Mei Seira and Suzu Suzuki, and this storyline with Crazy Star is kind of where the bulk of the story was for these two shows.
Really felt like the whole like nucleus of these shows.
Yeah, there was a moment in this match where Mei was trying to save Suzu from getting hit with the black box, but when she drop kicked Ruaka, it actually sent the black box into Suzu's head, which allows Tora to miss Suzu in the face, and then Suzu took the pin from Ruaka. So she was not happy, and even more pissed at Mei Seira, which is sad because Crazy Star is so good, but it's just going to keep building. These two are not happy with each other, and it shows.
Right.
And their chemistry is completely gone in the ring because of it. And in the main event, we had Saya Kamatani versus Sayaka Kurara in a singles match that was meant to be Saya Kamatani versus Starlight Kid, but now that SLK's hurt, we had a little replacement with Sayaka Kurara, which I'm not mad about because I love Sayaka Kurara. But Saya Kamatani did get the win in this match with maybe the grossest looking Star Crusher I've ever seen in my life.
It was pretty legit, man.
It was disgusting.
It was a solid match, and I thought both of them looked really good.
Yeah.
Damn, that Star Crusher.
It was intense.
It looked like her neck went sideways.
It did. It looked like she dropped her right on the top of her head.
Yeah.
It was really bad. But that was the first night in total. It was a fun night, and everyone just seemed like they were enjoying themselves the whole time. So it was really fun.
And listen, just being honest, it felt like a Stardom World show.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like a pay-per-view, but you got both of these pay-per-views for the price of one normal pay-per-view,
right.
So it's not that bad, but it just kind of felt like, we're just going to throw this in there, see what happens.
Yeah.
But on the 22nd, we started off with Ane Kanaya, Yuri Hime, and Akira Kuragane, our three classmates of the new class of young girls.
And I loved their entrance.
Yeah.
I really loved their entrance because they kind of almost had a synchronicity there with
they all
some
kind of
things.
did their thing.
But I love the fact that Akira still does Akira.
She just stared at them like, what are you guys doing?
She's just kind of pissed. She's like, I'm not dancing. I'm not doing this crap.
That's very much her persona at this point. They took on Hanako, Mina Shirakawa, and Maika, and I know that you really enjoyed this match because of Ane Kanaya's ability, like just watching her in the ring really showed us a lot of what she can do already.
Yeah, she has that natural. A lot of times you either have like your timing or whatever, or you don't. Like,
right.
Yeah, sometimes you can tell, and it takes a while for people to lean into it and realize. And I don't care what you're doing. People talk about like comedic timing, and they talk about it all matters, right? And she kind of knows when to put the punchline out there.
Yeah.
It seems like she feels the crowd, and that's just one of those things that if you have it natural, wrestling is a lot easier.
Right. But the young girl team obviously didn't win this match. Hanako used a brainbuster to get the win for EXV. After that, we had another three-way match. Miyu Amasaki versus Waka Tsukiyama versus Saki Kashima. And Saki was very much looking for the Kishikaise in this match, but Miyu actually shoved her out of the way in order to pin Waka and get the win in this match. Yeah. She was not having it.
No, it was, and that surprised me, honestly, in this one.
Yeah, Miyu showing a little fire. She's like, no, this is my pin. I'm going to take it. After that, we had a singles match, Tomoka Inaba versus Rion, which was an interesting little match. They did really well together. I thought they worked really well together. But Tomoka Inaba and that one-hit kill Tomoka kick, you can't defeat that.
And again, Rion's come
leaps and bounds
so far, and she's got so much confidence. But confidence can only take you so far when you run into an Inaba.
Yeah. That's true. And the Inabas are a scary couple of people. After that, we saw Azusa Inaba and Rina versus Koguma and Hazuki. So FWC versus Devil Princess, which was, I mean, what more can you want?
I freaking love Devil Princess.
Yes.
This didn't feel like Devil Princess to the degree that they were when they were tagging regular.
Right, like in the tag league.
Yeah, they felt like a little more dangerous there.
Right, and FWC, they were kind of, I mean, it wasn't your standard crazy high quality FWC match. It's like, we're just going to go out there and have a good time, have fun.
I thought they won kind of easily.
They did. Koguma used the Kuma roll to pin, I think, Azusa, and she, it was over.
So
I
was looking for more out of this match, honestly, just because they're so talented. And maybe there was a time issue or something, but I would like to have seen, like, you know, some few double downs. And
I was honestly expecting Rina and Azusa to win this match because of back when Wingori first won the tag titles, they got a win over Saida that hasn't really been addressed. So I thought maybe they were going to get a little boost up in the tag team ranks, but I guess we're holding off on that for now.
Yeah, right. It's in holding pattern.
After that, Rana Yagami, Lady C, and Hina took on Azumi, Mei Seira, and Suzu Suzuki. You know, more trouble here with Crazy Star, which led to Rana Yagami getting the pin on Mei Seira with her paradiddle roll up, which is really cool and difficult to get out of. And it was so funny because after this happened, Rana went on Twitter and was like, I know I was only able to get the pin because they were having struggles or whatever. It's like, don't sell yourself short, girl. Yeah. You got the pin over a champion.
All that matters in the history books is that you got the win.
Yes, and she promised to pin May again in the future when it wasn't so muddled, I guess. But I think she deserves all the accolades for getting that pin in the first place.
Yes.
Good for her.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, May and Suzu, after that, they got into it like a straight up mount each other fight in the middle of the ring.
They did, but did we not see Kevin follow... Did we not?
Did we not see Miyu Amasaki follow Suzu Suzuki out?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
But it seems like that's been a thing that's happened previously too. It's almost like
it's like she's always right at her heels.
Yeah. You just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a I'm gonna go calm her down situation or if it's like Miyu agrees with
taking
Suzu
a side
situation. But it's always important to watch for details like that. Then we had a massive elimination match in the semi-main event where Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurara, Yuna Mizumori, Sariano, and Tam Nakano took on the hate team of Ruaka Konami, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, and Saya Kamatani. And elimination matches in Stardom are so fun because you never know what's going to happen at any given time. But the eliminations went as follows. Saori eliminated Momo first, which was surprising to me, honestly, Momo Watanabe going out that fast. Then Konami tapped Yuna out with her armbar. Sariano kicked Konami and Aya Sakura off the side of the ring to eliminate them both together. Then Momo Watanabe came back and took out Sariano's leg with her bat because she was mad about being eliminated, which allowed Ruaka to knock Sariano off the side of the ring, eliminating her. Sayaka, Kurara, and Tam pushed Ruaka over the top together to eliminate her. Then Sayaka speared Natsuko Tora while they were on the apron, sending both of them over the side, which left Tam and Saya Kamatani as the final two. But hate interference led to Saya Kamatani getting hit with the black box, and then Tam used the violet screwdriver to get the pin over Saya, handing Cosmic Angels the win in this elimination match. And these matches are always just a mad scramble for most of the match, but I think it's really interesting that Tam was able to get the win here, even if it was because Saya Kamatani was hit with the black box. That dang black box always causing trouble in these matches.
No, I think so too. And it depends on what wrestling psychology you're going to use.
Right. You never know.
That doesn't bode well for later on.
No, it doesn't bode great for Tam if you're thinking of like a traditional sort of storyline going into Grand Queendom. But we still have over a month until Grand Queendom. So literally anything could happen between now and then
and probably will.
Builds on this story. Yeah, definitely will, knowing Stardom.
I mean, we still don't know the Cinderella wish.
That's true. We don't know what Sayaka Kurara is going to wish for.
Yeah.
And in the main event for the Goddess of Stardom Championships, Peach Rock, Momokogo, and Mayu Utani took on Wingori, Saya Ida, and Hanan. And it was a great effort on P-Truck's part, but Saida and that lariat just can't be denied, and Wing Glory was able to hold on to the tag team titles.
Yes, very
good for them. And they actually nominated their own next contenders, which they're keeping it in the family still, and they want to face FWC. So I don't know if that's a great idea for them.
It's not.
But that's what they want.
I love it, though, because that match we already know is fantastic.
Yeah, we already know that it's going to go absolutely crazy.
I can't wait to see it, and I hope it's on the big show.
Me too.
So,
Me too. I hope they put that on Grand Queendom.
Yeah,
because that's the best possible tag team match you could probably have for the titles.
It'll just make it that much better.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that out of the way, a little fun for Stardom, but Sendai Girls this past week really up to the grade of what was going on in the Joshi world, because they put on the Top of Joshi Wrestling on March 19th from the Yoyogi Second Gymnasium.
Live on Wrestle Universe, so anybody in the world can get Wrestle Universe app, and I highly suggest you do, because you get Marigold, you get Tokyo Joshi.
If you're a Joshi fan.
And you get Sendai Girls, I mean, and you get DDT, you get Noah, all that stuff, but
so much.
It's so much for
well worth the
such
money.
a low price, and the quality of the video. This is important, guys, especially now. There's some things we watch that sometimes can be pretty sus on the quality. Mm-hmm. The quality on Wrestle Universe is unparalleled.
It is.
It's so amazing.
It always looks good.
This show was beautiful. This show, just from an artistic standpoint and using an eye of a promoter, eye of an entertainer, this show, the sounds were great. They had the English or Japanese commentary, and we went back and forth.
We picked and choose.
We did. Sometimes we just cannot even on the English commentary. But I will say, the English commentary was very informative on this.
It was. There was a lot that they taught us about.
Yeah.
And of course, the translation aspect was there as well, which is always amazing.
Absolutely had everything studied.
Yeah.
And that's usually our problem, is we know more than the commentators. But, this was not this. Every story was there.
They did a good job.
Yeah. I loved the whole presentation of this, and it was packed.
Yeah. It was jam-packed in that gymnasium.
Just an aura.
And they told a lot of cool stories about this gymnasium throughout the night because of the fact that amateur wrestling is held in this arena.
Yeah.
And Chihiro Hashimoto, who would be in the main event, actually wrestled in this arena as an amateur wrestler.
I thought all night they planted seeds all night, making the main event feel like a damn main event.
Yeah, they did.
And bringing in, Chihiro's bringing in her old wrestling coach that he trained in that building, and competed in that building, bringing in a Olympic gold medalist that from Japan that also had wrestled with her.
Yeah.
So all through the night, we were having these sprinkles of why this is such an important event.
Yeah.
Why this is such an important match. Dignitaries from throughout the years.
Yeah, it felt so big and so special.
Yeah, so
they really did it right.
So let's cover it.
All right, so we open the night with a singles match between Maria from Marvelous and Manami. And they really did a good job of setting this up as like a proxy war between Chigusa and Meiko Satomura, because these are like their girls.
Yeah.
And of course, Chigusa trained Meiko Satomura. So they have this long-standing sort of teacher-student rivalry going on, and this was like a microcosm of the Marvelous versus
But
Sendai
my God,
Girls.
Maria.
Oh my goodness. Maria is so good. She's so fluid, and her drop kick in particular, we were just amazed by every single time she threw it out. But Manami, of course, is a Spitfire. She's not going to go down easily, but there was like a little bit of weirdness with the pin on this one. It was a drop kick into like a cradle, but it seemed like Manami was trying to get out of it, but it went to the 3 count and Maria won the match. So it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it really was. How do you solve a problem like Maria? I mean,
I don't think Manami's figured it out yet.
It's listen, she was already Marvelous. Goddamn. Marvelous has some amazing women.
Every person I've seen come out of Marvelous or be trained by Chigusa Nagayo is spectacular in the ring.
She just churns them out.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're scary.
Yeah.
Like everybody from Marvelous is scary.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I agree, yes. Like, they get in the ring, they have this aura about them that's like, I'm not joking around, I'm here to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And it's scary, intimidating.
And Maria just... This was short. This was. We actually watched it twice.
We just had to see it again.
We watched it twice because of how short it was. Because we were expecting Manami to... I mean, Manami's a damn near main event star. She's sprinkled in with the main events. She's had main events.
Yeah.
You know, so we were expecting like a back and forth, if not a win.
Right. So a little false finish here and there.
But Maria's super talented. This is great. I can't wait to see them run this back with, Manami wanting that back.
Yeah, I agree completely. Following that, we had a fun 8-man match where Yuna, Yura Suzuki, Zones, and Hanoka took on Yu, Lena Cross, Nina Samuels, and Venny. And this was sort of like, I think they said small versus big, which I thought was funny. But Yuna and Hanoka and Yura and Zones are all very strong up-and-comers in the Joshi landscape. But that was not enough for them to overcome the power of the other four, because there was a big body splash off the top from Yu on poor Yuna, and she was able to get the pin for her team. So the younger girls are going to have to work a little harder to get up there.
Venny looked amazing as always. And some of the...
She's so vicious.
Viciousness.
Good Lord, I love her so much.
So it was nice to see you back.
It was, yes. First time we've seen her since January when she went on a little break. Yeah. So it's nice that she's back in action.
It was a fun little match.
Following that, we had possibly
for
some people, the main event of the evening, I think.
Oh, for me.
A singles match between Shin Sakura Hirota and Jaguar Yokota. My goodness. Okay, this, of course, Sakura comes out. She's doing her song. She does all of her little things. She talks to the crowd before the match, and she's
her
like...
song just about why you should love her.
Yes, about why she's the best and why they should all cheer for her, which is just lovely and amazing. And then she's like... out here talking to Bull Nakano and Jinsai Shinzaki at ringside. She's like, I don't want to go back in there. I don't want to wrestle Jaguar.
Why don't you go? Yeah.
You go do it. You've done it before, because Jaguar is not a... She's scary.
Oh, still, yeah.
She's a legend.
Always will be.
And we got the normal Sakura Hirota spots, the rope walk where she hits it the first time, but then everyone convinces her to do it again, and it never really works. The dive where she gets caught on the rope is one of my favorites, because it cracks me up every time, even though I know it's coming.
Yeah.
I just lose it every single time. The conchos, which she did not only on Jaguar, but on Daichi as well.
Yes. Poor Daichi.
Daichi's selling it the rest of the match. And then she kicked the rope on poor Daichi when he was getting back in the ring.
Yeah. She took care of Daichi's ability to use the bathroom for a few days.
Yes. And then Jaguar Yokota using the pure strength of her ass to flip Sakura Hirota over while she was in the concho position.
It's a Jaguar ass, dude.
But it was
the tightest ass in the biz.
Jaguar Yokota's flipping leg drop into a cobra twist that made Sakura Hirota tap, and Jaguar won the match. But it was just a joy.
It was.
It's always a joy to see Shin Sakura Hirota.
Hirota's so amazing. I'm not going to gush.
And she's a staple of, like, she was there in Gaia. She's been there in Sendai. She's just necessary in Joshi.
That's the one lady I want to meet.
Yeah. I would be so happy if I was able to meet Sakura Hirota.
To adopt us.
I want to do the pose with her.
Yeah.
It would be... I bet she's so nice in real life too.
Or she's just a total bitch and would have us cleaning and mowing the yard and all this stuff.
No, she's a mom. She has to be nice. I'm just kidding. But yes, I love her to death. Following that match, we had a 6-man match where Chikayo Nagashima, who debuted on the same exact day as Meiko Satomura, by the way, in Gaia, Japan, teaming with Yurika Oka and Ryo Mizunami to take on the team of Kyoko Inoue, Takako Inoue, and Ajin Kong. What?
Yeah.
In this year of our Lord 2025, this team, this very, very 90s All Japan women's pro wrestling team.
It's insane.
Of Double Inoue and Aja Kong. I can't believe we were able to see this, that we were able to witness this at this point in their careers, and it makes me so happy that they're still doing things in the ring and that we were able to hear all of their music as they came out. Yes, exactly.
I thought it was great too. And just hearing the theme songs and
Every single one of their songs is iconic.
oh yeah,
It's so amazing.
iconic enough that we listen to it on road trips.
Yes.
So
Because it's so good. Kyoko's is one of my favorite for sure because it's like 80s training montage music.
it is, and they're all stolen off other songs. I love it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, right now I can see her coming out.
Yeah.
So it's great
She's
stuff.
so good. Oh, this match was so fun, and we got to see all of them, do their thing. And of course, the legends got the win in this match. Aja Kong using her massive elbow drop to get the job done, which she does. But it was just a vibe. It's just so much fun to see these ladies in there. And when you have a show called The Top of Joshi Wrestling, you can't take out the contributions that these women have had over the course of 30 years now in Japanese women's wrestling.
I mean, you look at like 5,000 fans or something, 2,000 fans, whatever, and think about the fact they were regularly in front of 10,000 fans plus.
Yeah, and they deserve it more than probably anyone at this point. I was so happy to see them here. It was so much fun. Following that, though, we had a totally different vibe going on because it was time for the hardcore match between Risa Sera and Dash Chisako.
Dear God.
And this started out really cool because the great Kabuki was here to give Dash Chisako her flowers.
So I flipped my shit.
You were like, huh, what? Who is that? You heard the music, you were like, wait a minute.
I was like, that is that Kabuki? That's Kabuki. And I went nuts, man.
Yeah.
Roger's like, what? Why are you so... Yeah, that's okay.
This show was a lot of fun for us for like deep diving the past.
Yeah, I was like, come on, I gave you the whole story. And I started going through mist colors and what they can do to you. And,
you gotta know all that.
I felt bad though, because they had to kind of push him in from the ass. And so
he had to go slowly.
He got up on the steps and they literally had to like
lift him in. Yes, but he gave Dash her flowers. You gotta imagine that's like a huge honor for Dash Chisako. I can't even imagine.
Huge honor for me.
But between that and us looking up videos of Jinsai Shinzaki as Hakushi doing the rope walk.
that was the other thing. I was like, no. You got to see if you want to see this, you got to see this.
It's so much fun. We had a fun time during the show, just all around.
Oh yeah.
But there was a absolutely nasty, horrible bump in this match where Dash Chisako was up on the top of a ladder essentially in the ring, and Risa Sera just decides to tip the ladder over so that Dash Chisako goes out of the ring through a table on the floor.
Yeah.
Just one table.
It's one of those, look, Ma, no hands. Is she going backwards?
Oh.
If you've never been in a ring, it's bad enough off a top rope. It's horrifying off a top rope.
Yes.
Off a ladder to a target on concrete outside of the ring.
Good Lord.
Hoping that you are at the exact right spot to hit that small Japanese table.
Yeah.
I
can't. It just makes me want to
The size of the testicles on this woman
she freaks me out.
should be studied by science and injected into people that are low testosterone.
Yes, Dash Chisako is scary.
She is a machine.
Yeah, and you just get up and keep going after that. She climbed scaffolding in this match to do a splash on Risa Sera through a table, and then she finished the match with a hormone splash off of a ladder.
Yeah.
Through a bunch of chairs on top of Risa Sera for the pin.
Yeah.
Which just sounds like it hurts.
It was honestly much better than I thought it was. I'm not down for the hardcore stuff normally.
Right. Dash Chisako just has a way about her, though.
Yeah.
And in these matches, like when we saw with Momo Watanabe, she just knows how to carry through it. I don't know. She just makes it interesting, and I love it. So I hope she doesn't do them that often, though, because I don't want her to go through any more tables like that, please.
Not for a while.
Please and thank you. So Dash Chisako's the winner of the hardcore match. Wonderful for her. Then we got into our 3 big championship matches.
So, I'm going to see myself out.
Starting with the Sendai Girls Junior Championship match, Aya Sakura versus Chi-Chi, Part 3.
Better known as John's favorite girl.
Yes, and this was actually a really great match. Like, they both put a lot into this match. There was a moment early on in the match where Chi-Chi strung Aya's leg up over the top rope, and then she kicked, not the rope, but her leg, so that it kind of like bent sideways. It was gross.
You love that spot.
And Aya Sakura spent the entire match selling that leg because
talked about
of
that
it.
spot the entire match.
Did you see it?
Yes.
It was disgusting.
It was such a beautiful thing, though, the way she made her leg go sideways, like it was rubber.
It was right on target. It was amazing.
I don't know if she was selling. I think...
No, that probably really hurt.
Yeah, I think she was hurting.
There was also a really cool moment during the double down where Daichi started counting and he did a 1 count and they both kipped up at the same time.
It was a great match.
Yeah, and they both, they really went after each other. There were some long submission attempts in this match, but in the end, there was a German suplex hold from Aya Sakura to pin Chi-Chi and become the new Sendai Girls Junior champion. After the first 2 matches, she was finally able to overcome Chi-Chi.
So she should get another match because she had 2 wins already.
Yes, Chi-Chi should get a rematch, I agree.
Regardless, listen, we got to give the clap. So, great job by these 2 ladies.
Amazing.
Fantastic match.
They really know each other well at this point.
With what was coming up, up to this point, this was match of the night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree completely.
Not going to stay that way.
No. So, following that match in the semi-main event for the Sendai Girls Tag Team Championships, we had Hi Mate, Hanako, and Maika taking on the champs, Red Energy, Miyuki Takase, and Mika Iwata. And it was what you expect out of these 2 teams. It was a slobber knocker, honestly.
It was a hell of a match.
They just beat the crap out of each other.
It was like Hanson and Gordy, and it was amazing, man.
Yeah, anytime Mika and Maika were in there at the same time, it's just going to be them just throwing at each other.
A lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, but Mika Iwata used her triple kick combo where she kicks you in the head a bunch of times to get the pin for the win and keep the tag team championships with Red Energy. So they've successfully had their first defense of the belts.
I think we're leading to Mika and Maika.
Yeah, I would say there's a singles match in the future for that. For sure, after this. I would be disappointed if they didn't at least...
They're going to have to.
...have that somewhere or another, whether it's in Stardom or in Sendai Girls.
Yes.
Then we came to the main event. For the Sendai Girls World Championship, Chihiro Hashimoto versus Meiko Satomura. And this, of course, is... they've had quite a few singles matches in the past, and they really built up with the video package and everything about how Chihiro Hashimoto has always won the matches against Meiko Satomura in the past. So it was like a big deal now for Meiko. She was watching for that Albright because it's what always gets her.
Yes.
That Albright suplex of Chihiro Hashimoto is what always takes her down. So she was on guard. She had learned how to counter.
Seems like she spent most of her training learning how to counter it.
Yeah. So before this match started, we had an Olympic gold medalist who actually used to spar with Chihiro during her amateur wrestling days, give Chihiro Hashimoto some flowers, and then Kento Kobashi came in to give Meiko Satomura some flowers. So it was a lot of really big, ceremony at the beginning of this match, as it deserves.
And then the match.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm just going to read what I wrote at first.
Yeah, because the match occurred in chapters.
Yeah.
Like great Japanese storytelling.
It did. My first 2 notes about this match are technically perfect, incredibly hard hitting.
Yeah.
And that kind of sums up what went down in that ring.
Well, it started out with the wrestling struggle.
Yeah.
And the very technician based reversals and high level shit.
Oh yeah, the grappling at the beginning of this match was just crazy.
I could just watch it for hours.
And you gotta imagine Chihiro's old coach was out there like, yeah, let's go.
Look at a lot of it was the wrestling of Big Hash.
Yeah.
Looking out for the submissions of Meiko. It was like because they were there.
Yeah.
And so you had to watch where your arm was. You had to watch, and it was so many little things.
Yeah.
That are so amazing to watch when you're paying attention.
If you just look at it from the wrestling perspective and watch the way they move together and the things they grab, it's just insane.
But then it got kicky.
and then they started just punching each other.
Punching, kicking.
Oh, they did not hold anything back in this match.
No, it would have knocked out a normal horse.
It was scary, and they really took it out of each other. Like I said, Mako was avoiding the Albright like the whole match. Every time it seemed like Chihiro was going to go for it, she would have the perfect counter for it. So Chihiro was unable to get the Albright in this match, but there was a power slam in this match that was like the most beautiful power slam I think I've ever seen in my life. And as the match progressed, it was clear that she wasn't going to get it. So instead, she decided to powerbomb Mako Satomura like out of this dimension to end the match instead.
Yeah.
Like just stacked her right up after it.
It was insane. It was sick.
It was a crazy powerbomb.
It was one of those.
And after that match, it was like, I can't even breathe.
If somebody took a GIF and put a nuclear explosion in when it hits, it would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, or one of those gifts where like the bones are breaking as it happens. Oh,
Yeah.
it was so sick and so cool. And it allowed Chihiro Hashimoto to once again defeat Mako Satomura and become the new Sendai Girls world champion just a month out from Mako's retirement.
And that was just almost the beginning, because then she was asked to take the reins.
Yes, it was. Oh man, the post match was as beautiful as the match itself, because Chihiro got the mic and she started talking. Well, before she got the mic, Jinsai Shinzaki came into the ring and he handed her the little certificate for winning the match. And he basically told her, you're not just the leader of Joshi and Japanese women's wrestling, but women's wrestling around the world. And it's up to you now to lead this charge and to really take Joshi to the next level. And you could tell that meant a lot to her.
And then, even with the Sendai Girls thing, and we'll get to that, but you can talk about what she's talking with Mako.
Oh man, when Chihiro got on the mic and she's talking to Mako Satomura, she's just talking about how nervous she was for the months leading up to this match and how she couldn't eat and she couldn't sleep, and she was just so worried because this is their last singles match. It's the last time she's going to get to step into the ring with her teacher, with this woman that made her who she is today. And as she's talking about this, she's just sobbing, completely in tears. It was so beautiful the way that she was going on about it. And she just thanked Mako for this match and for everything that she's done for her and for Joshi. And I mean, well-deserved is Mako Satomura, but it was just such a beautiful moment that I don't think I'll ever forget, because you gotta imagine when you're in that position like Chihiro, being able to have that match with your trainer is amazing, but knowing that it's the last time that it'll happen has to be very emotional.
So anybody who's competed in their lives, and you don't have to have done this to understand, but for someone who has competed at a high level at anything, she's competed her whole life in like amateur wrestling and such. And to do those things is a sacrifice from day one.
Yeah.
Her whole life has been a sacrifice to be on top.
Yeah.
A sacrifice of, when your friends are going out, when, people are having relationships, and, that's not for the person like Hash that is putting everything into this.
Right.
The relationships come from mentors. That's Mako and her. I mean, obviously Mako will still be around, but that competition means everything.
Right.
And, whenever you have a fight with somebody in the real world, a lot of times you become good friends afterwards.
Right.
No matter what the fight was about, there's a personal bond that occurs that is hard to explain if you've never done it. And it's one of the most beautiful things I like about combat.
Right.
Is the respect that comes when somebody is like that with you. But, she's like, thank you for putting me through hell.
Yeah.
Because you made me who I am. And she's like, I didn't want to cry, but she's
didn't.
freaking bawling. And I was holding it together pretty well until all 7 of the Sendai Girls.
She talked about how they're just 7 now, but they're gonna grow and they're gonna take over Joshi. And Chihiro Hashimoto's personal dream is for Sendai Girls to hold a show in the Nippon Budokan in the next 5 years.
She said 5 years. I think 1 year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take that long.
I think they could do it now, but I think 1 year. And, there's 7 of them. They're all 7 amazing. I think that Sendai has the right idea.
I think so too. they know what they're doing when they put on a show.
It feels like something special.
It does. This felt like a special moment. And you can't really get a much better passing of the torch when you're going out. Chihiro's never lost one-on-one to Meiko Satomura, and that will continue because Meiko will retire. So it just shows that she is the chosen one, essentially, to take this forward.
Sometimes there's a curse from being on top, and that curse is saturation. So with Stardom, you kind of have to have we're on tour.
Yeah.
We're going to hit every town out here because we're the big dogs.
Right.
And, so you have to have some formulaic aspects to the matches just to save injuries.
Right.
And then you have your huge cards, and they're the best thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
You have a Stardom pay-per-view, big show.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's everything. And these matches are so layered and detailed. And,
right.
And I think that it's hard to compare these two because they're not the same.
No.
Sendai runs shows semi-regular, but when they have a show, it's a special show. It's always a special show,
Yeah, like every single show, it just feels like they're out there doing everything they can to entertain.
So the girls will wrestle in a lot of other places, but, that's just how it is. But when it's actual Sendai show, Sendai's on the marquee, you need to pay attention. But that's why, Stardom, we had a lot of discussions this week.
Yeah.
And it's for every Okinawa, there is a humongous, incredible queendom. There's these amazing shows. But I think that it's good to have parity, and I think it's good to have, so many talented ladies.
Yeah, we need all of the girls doing what they do in separate companies to keep everything feeling good. I mean, every single Joshi promotion has its own feel, and there's something for everyone to love.
If the United States could figure out it don't have to be either or.
if only.
Kind of like you have in Japan. I mean, you've got a lot of companies all working together, and it just feels good.
Yeah.
And it's something for everybody, really.
Yeah.
So I
agree.
I love it. I love it.
I love Joshi.
I love Joshi. Yes.
It was so good. Just the image of the 7 Sendai girls standing together in the ring to end the show.
The Magnificent Seven.
Just beautiful, and it was amazing. And I want to give my top 3 moments of this week real quick. My number 3 has to go to Sakura Hirota versus Jaguar Yokota.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it just has to.
Yes.
That's me personally. My number 2 moment would probably be the debut of Ane Kanaya. I love a good debut, and this was a great debut. And the number 1 moment, I mean, we just talked all about it. Chihiro Hashimoto versus Meiko Satomura and everything that followed was just the pinnacle of what Joshi should be, okay? It's art. It's a masterpiece, and you need to see it. Yeah. Go out of your way to see it.
Exactly. And I was going to say my moment's just going to be one, and it's going to be that.
Yeah, there's no other moment necessary.
It definitely gets the Cult of Joshi seal of approval for the quote, go out of your way to see it. Yes. End quote.
the go out of your way stamp.
I grew up reading Wrestling Observer, and that was always the Dave Meltzer thing, to go out of your way to see this. So that's where I got that from. But I mean, this is one of those go out of your way.
Yeah. If you love Joshi, if you love wrestling at all, this is a match that I feel like people just need to know about and need to see if they just enjoy wrestling.
Watch the whole event, actually.
The whole event was amazing.
Let it build up through the night for you.
Yeah. It was a spectacular show. I'm so glad we got to see it. But before we sign off, I just want to mention a couple of interesting shows that are coming up in the next week or so. Starting on the 27th with New Blood 20, there will be that New Blood tag team title match on there between Hanako and Waka Sugiyama and Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori. So things are going to come to a head between Hanako and Aya Sakura at this point. Then on the 30th, there's 2 interesting things happening. One being Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling is hosting a special show for Yuki Arai's graduation from SKE 48. That's so hard for me to say.
Yeah.
And also, Marigold is holding their Spring Victory Series show, which will feature the match between Nanai Takahashi and Sari Yamaoka and Takumi Iroha and Senka Akatsuki.
Can't wait for that. Now, I can't wait for the Utami match with Bozilla because
yes, Utami versus
Utami's
Bozilla.
talking mad shit online. Have you seen this?
I haven't. Has she been talking trash?
She's putting some tweets out and stuff saying, you got to throw Bozilla away.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She's like, you got to throw her away. She needs to end.
That's amazing.
It's weird.
That's how a title match should be built.
It's kind of weird on the translation because she's literally saying we need to throw Bozilla away.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going, but I think it's kind of odd as well because during spring break, there's going to be Megasis versus Bozilla.
Yeah, which is cool. A cool match.
It's cool.
But weird that she's going when Marigold doesn't have plans to go over there.
Marigold doesn't work with AEW.
Yeah.
Okay. And Megasis is signed, Megan Baines signed to AEW, doing well there.
Right.
And having a match with Bozilla, when Bozilla was, brought into Marigold,
yeah,
it maybe Utami really is throwing her away.
You think maybe Bozilla is on the way out? They're telegraphing the finish with this match announcement?
It feels like it to me.
Because I thought it was interesting being on the last day of March because of the way Japanese contracts work. And I was wondering, like, maybe Utami's going to drop the belt.
Well, that would be awesome for me.
But I don't know. Maybe it's Bozilla that's on the way out.
We're always trying to get Utami back.
We're just going to have to watch and see. But this has been a great week. It's been full of wrestling emotions and wonderfulness, and I really enjoyed myself all week. And I hope you guys did too. And I hope you enjoyed this show because we love doing this show, and we love that you guys listen and give us your feedback because we need to know. I'm going to put chapters on this YouTube video. If you're watching it right now, there are chapters, I promise.
Yes.
But make sure you're following us on X, on Instagram, on Facebook at Cult of Joshi, and subscribe to the Cult of Joshi YouTube channel. Give us a like, a comment. We want to know all your thoughts, as always. Check us out on Patreon because we got some cool stuff coming up. Patreon.com/cultofjoshi. Very easy to find. But for now, that is all we have for you. So I'm Raja. He's John. So long from the Cult of Joshi.
Bye!